Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm back with another video made by Good Enough. It's titled The Most Terrifying Things in Our Universe. First thing that comes to mind would be black holes, just a random stray asteroid that could strike Earth and kill us all. However, there is also far more stuff out there that I don't know about. There's 10 on this list, so let's see which ones he points out. Link to the original video will of course be down in the description below.
Let's start with the scary and slowly work our way towards the most terrifying ones on the list. Number 10, space junk. As it turns out, our planet is not the only thing we treat like a giant trash can, since space is slowly becoming a giant landfill as well. There are currently millions of pieces of man-made junk in Earth's orbit, with over 30...
Pretty sure all the satellites and everything that just crashes into random stuff in space or crash against each other, it just stays there. I once read an article about how much stuff is in space orbiting Earth, how much junk, and it was a lot. I don't remember exactly how much. The number has obviously also increased since then, so there's no point even looking back at that article. And it's interesting because how do you get rid of this stuff? There isn't a way to do that, as far as I'm aware at least. And yet it's problematic because the more stuff that's in orbit, the more difficult it will be to send out more stuff into space. Because now you have to take into account the movement of all of these little pieces, because even the slightest impact could change a lot to whatever you're sending out into space.
30,000 of them being over 10 centimeters long, or around Earth's orbit, with over 30,000 of them being over 10 centimeters long, or around 4 inches. Now, the reason why this is so scary is that the number of junk is only growing. But this really shouldn't worry you, since I'm sure we'll eventually get around to cleaning it, which usually only happens when it becomes a big enough problem that our government is forced to do something about it. You see, the growing amounts of space junk are becoming a major problem for space exploration and travel, and NASA has already had to course correct 32 times since 1999 to avoid satellites and space debris. Now, you're probably thinking, this
they
is
have to
an
correct
issue
every
that we will
single
never have to worry about,
launch into
since you never
space.
leave the house, let alone plan on traveling to space. But as it turns out, the space debris might just come to you. There have been many reports
it could
of
also
large pieces
crash
of metal,
into Earth.
spaceships, and satellites landing on people's property and homes.
I'm pretty sure that something recently, in like the last 1 or 2 weeks, something got destroyed. I think something made by Boeing. So that just adds more junk to all the stuff that's already in orbit.
Homes. But I'm sure the majority of the pieces go unreported since they most likely land in the ocean, where they blend in with the rest of the trash. Number 9, cosmic voids. As we leave Earth's orbit and begin to look further out into the universe, we quickly begin to discover all sorts of terrifying things.
Well,
but
just
before
empty
we get
space?
to those, I want to focus on nothing. I literally mean nothing.
Like
you
Booty's
see, there are
void?
vast spaces in the universe that don't contain anything at all. No planets, no stars, no moons,
Just complete
no
emptiness.
McDonald's, no asteroids. Nothing.
No McDonald's, oh
These
no.
empty spaces are known
How would
as
you
cosmic
survive?
voids, and in some cases they can be hundreds of millions of light years in diameter. This would create a long and lonely space trip for anything that decides to journey across them. Unless, of course, you were blessed with being an introvert, since we are completely immune to this weakness.
Yeah, this would be a perfect place
Now,
for
I know
me.
these large numbers are very hard to grasp, so let me just show you what this all looks like. Here's an illustration of the Virgo supercluster, which contains around 100,000 galaxies, including our home, the Milky Way. Now, let's zoom out and take a look at the
There's
areas
Booty's
here.
void.
These are
Oh jeez. Yeah, no, Booty's void is definitely the biggest one, that we can see at least. But there's also a lot of other voids, which are pretty big.
cosmic voids. This particular one here is called Boötes Void and is one of the largest voids in the known
Boötes, not
universe,
booties.
spanning around 330 million light years wide. For perspective, the entire Milky Way galaxy, which is home to at least 100 billion planets, is 100,000 light years wide. Number 8, dead galaxies.
Those numbers are too big
dead
to
galaxies are galaxies that
comprehend
have
for the
run out
human
of cold
mind.
hydrogen gas, which is necessary to fuel stars and create new ones. These dead galaxies will be the first to become completely dark and lifeless, leaving behind a cold and lonely cemetery. But for now, these galaxies appear red as they burn through their last remaining energy that they will ever have. Now let's get to the terrifying part. All galaxies, including our own, will eventually run out of energy, and it's hypothesized that
that's
the
life.
entire universe eventually will as well. A stage that is referred to as the Dark Era, and it's speculated to be the final state of the universe.
The great thing is,
leaving
this is so
behind
far
a
away in
cold and
time,
dark universe
it doesn't
where
really
light and
matter for
energy
us.
cease to exist.
Probably for
Number
humanity
7,
as a whole.
planets. NASA estimates that
Humanity won't live nearly long enough to see that happen, so nothing to worry about.
there are at least 100 billion planets in the Milky Way galaxy alone.
Just planets?
And over 6 sextillion planets in the observable universe. That's 21 zeros, by the way. Not that it even matters, since none of us could even come close to comprehending that. So instead, people try to visualize this by saying that there are more planets in the known universe than grains of sand on Earth.
How-
And for those of
you
you that have
can't
never
know
been
how
to the
many
beach,
grains of sand
take
there
it from
are.
someone who has. We still can't comprehend this number either. Now, we don't have to look far to find some truly terrifying planets, since we have a few of them here in our own solar system.
Oh yeah,
but let's
that's
just take
true.
a look at the scariest one.
The weather
Jupiter.
conditions.
This planet is an absolute nightmare, and is scary enough to just look at. Jupiter's a giant gas planet that is 1,300 times larger than Earth and is covered in violent storms, as I'm sure
Yep,
you already
the
know.
weather conditions
But really
are
quickly, here are
incredibly
just a few of the
dangerous on
ways
those
Jupiter
planets.
would absolutely mop the floor with you. Radiation exposure, dead. Atmospheric pressure, dead. 400 plus mile per hour winds, dead. Struck by lightning, dead.
Jupiter
You
is
overheat,
not
dead.
compatible
You
with
freeze,
life.
dead. You decide to breathe, dead. But if Jupiter's not scary enough, our galaxy has many other horrific planets to choose from, like planets that constantly rain molten iron or molten glass, planets that are entirely covered in ice, planets that are entirely covered in lava, planets that are entirely covered in water, planets that are just completely dark,
Subnautica.
planets with giant hurricanes the size of Earth. Nope, that's just Jupiter again. I told you that place sucks. Number 6, aliens. Ever since we were young, Hollywood
Well, we
has
don't know if
conditioned
they're
us to be
actually
scared
real.
of aliens. So it's no
We've never
surprise
seen
that this
any,
one
have
would
we?
end up on the list. Movies like Alien, Signs, Predator, Cloverfield, The Thing, and of course the GOAT, Killer Clowns from
Oh,
Outer
God.
Space, all made aliens.
Those
This
are
one
all
would
such
end up
good
on the
classic
list.
movies.
Movies like Alien, Signs, Predator, Cloverfield, The Thing, and of
Especially
course
The
the GOAT,
Thing.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Killer Clowns from
all
Outer
made
Space.
aliens
Good movie.
incredibly violent and
Well,
terrifying.
it's not good,
and when
but
Hollywood finally
it's so
attempted
bad
to
it's
create
good.
a friendly and relatable alien, all they got right was his body type. And it definitely worked. Scientists say that it's only a matter of time until we find the existence of aliens. But here's the thing, right? An alien or an extraterrestrial being is simply just something that is living that didn't originate on Earth. So this could be something as small as bacteria, but if we're lucky, it could be a fish or mammal-like creature. But of course, this could be something infinitely more terrifying. And that's what makes this one so scary. We really don't know what's out there. Now, thankfully, we all know that first impressions are everything. So I'm hopeful that aliens will just take a quick look at Earth's orbit
No,
and
they're
decide
not going
visit,
to assume
since
anything
we're
good about
obviously
us.
very dirty. Number 5, gamma ray bursts.
If aliens ever came to Earth, I'm convinced they would just leave us alone because they would look at how stupid we are and just move on.
Gamma ray bursts are the most powerful explosions in the known universe, releasing more energy in a second than the sun would in a billion years. This can occur a few different ways, either when a star goes supernova, when two neutron stars collide and form a black hole, or when a black hole swallows a neutron star. These massive bursts of energy are 1,000,000 trillion times brighter than the sun and could last anywhere from 10 milliseconds to several hours. Now here's what makes them so scary. The light produced can't be seen by the naked eye. So if Earth were to be hit by one of these powerful gamma ray bursts, we would never see it coming. And depending on how
We would
close the
never
source
even
of the
know
gamma
what-
ray burst
what's
is,
gonna
it
kill
would
us.
determine if life on Earth would survive. At a distance of 6,000 light years, it would cause mass extinction due to the deadly amounts of radiation. But if the gamma ray burst occurred further away but still managed to get a direct hit on us, it could still be catastrophic, since it would heavily damage all of our satellites and technology, shutting down the Wi-Fi. Now, thankfully, Earth is not really in danger of such an event, since our sun is far too small to produce this type of explosion. Instead, our sun will just grow so
Thank
large
God
that
for
it
that.
slowly swallows the entire planet. Number 4. colliding
Well, that's millions or
galaxies.
billions
With
of years
billions of
away, so it
galaxies
doesn't
traveling
matter.
through the universe, some are bound to bump into one another. As a matter of fact, our galaxy will be one of them. The Milky Way is scheduled to crash into our neighboring galaxy, the Andromeda Galaxy. But that collision won't be for another 4 to 5 billion years. Hopefully long after humans
So
have
like
left
everything
Earth
else,
and
it just
populated
doesn't
other
matter because
planets.
it's
But
too
let's talk
far
about what
away
makes
in
colliding
time.
galaxies so scary. As the two galaxies begin to get close to one another, their gravitational pull will bring them together. Now, surprisingly, planets crashing into one another would be extremely rare, since galaxies are mostly empty space. But what would happen is planets would be rearranged and shuffled around, knocking them away from their current solar systems and creating new ones. So any planet with life on it might be stuck with a new neighbor. Here are a few galaxies that are currently merging as we speak. Number 3, supernovas. Supernovas are the largest explosions that humans have ever seen. They can outshine their entire galaxy for a few days or even months, and can be seen across the universe. A supernova can occur a couple of different ways. The first one is when a massive star runs out of nuclear fuel and collapses, causing it to go supernova. The
Honestly,
second
most
is
of
when
these
a
things
white
aren't
dwarf
even
star
terrifying,
gains
they're
enough
just
mass
interesting.
by siphoning it from another nearby
They're not terrifying
star,
because
causing it to collapse
they
and
most likely will
explode.
never affect
But let's
us.
talk about what makes supernovas so scary.
Well, they
When a
definitely
star
won't
goes
affect anyone who's
supernova, it
currently alive
obliterates
on Earth.
everything in its path and is powerful enough to destroy all life on any planet within 30 to 50 light years. For perspective, our sun is only about 4.2 light hours away from our furthest planet, Neptune. Even though supernovas are one of the most deadly events in the known universe, easily obliterating every living thing in their way, at least they make great screensavers. Number 2, black holes. Black holes are easily one of the most terrifying things in the known universe. It's mostly due to the fact that we don't fully understand how they work. But here's what we do know. There are 2 different types. The first one is called a stellar mass black hole, and is
There's also
roughly
no way to
3
know what
to
happens when
1,000
something
times
gets
the
sucked
mass of
into
our
a black
sun.
hole.
These are created when a large
Where
star
does it
goes
go?
supernova and collapses in on itself, creating a black hole. The second type is a supermassive black hole and can be millions to billions of times the mass of our sun. Also, we have no idea how these black holes are formed. And when I say we, I mean I couldn't find an answer using Google, got frustrated, and just came to the conclusion that the answer simply doesn't exist. But the most common theory I kept seeing is that a black hole must have swallowed another black hole, making it grow much larger. If there's anything I have learned while scripting this video, it's that astronomers and astrophysicists never give a simple answer to anything, so them resorting to the
because they
classic
don't know the
answer
answer.
of, you eat, you grow, is quite comical, since I know firsthand that is not always the case. But with that out of the way, let's talk about what makes black holes so terrifying. Well, for starters, one of these supermassive black holes sits right at the center of our galaxy,
Yep, in the Milky Way
gobbling up
galaxy.
pieces of the Milky Way as we speak. Another reason why they're so creepy is simply for the fact that they are completely invisible. As I'm sure you know, this is because black holes have a force of gravity so strong that nothing can escape it, not even light. So the only way we can see where they are in the universe is by seeing how they interact with their surroundings. But the biggest reason why black holes are so high on the list is simply because we don't know what would happen if you were to enter one. Are they just
Exactly.
wormholes? Or would you just get stretched out like a giant piece of spaghetti? I'm not kidding, that's the most agreed upon theory. They call it spaghettification. Or could it be a portal to an alternate dimension? We really don't know. Either way, all of these are absolutely terrifying. Number 1, the size of the universe. Hands down, the most terrifying thing
Yeah,
about
that-
the universe is
I guess
its
you could
size. Just allow
say
me
that
to
it's
present my
terrifying.
case. Does this image scare you?
No.
What about now? Exactly. Let me show you a few more illustrations before I rest my case. For simplicity's sake, let's start at ground level. This is you. You're probably in your room. Your room is in your home. Your home is here on Earth. Earth's home is in our solar system, which
It
has
just keeps
8
getting
planets.
bigger and bigger.
Our solar system is part of the solar interstellar neighborhood, which is part of the Milky Way galaxy, also home to at least 100 billion other planets. The Milky Way galaxy is part of the local galactic group, which is home to 3 other galaxies. The 3 galaxies are all inside of the Virgo supercluster, which has hundreds of galaxies and galaxy clusters. The Virgo supercluster is part of the local superclusters. The local superclusters sit right at the center of the entire observable universe, which spans 93 billion light years wide. But it doesn't end
These
there.
numbers are too big
This
to
is just
comprehend.
what we can see with the current technology we have, and we have no idea how much larger the universe is or if there's even an end to it. But of course, this
Now, I guess the size of the universe would be terrifying because humans are scared of things we don't understand. So, since we do not know how big the universe actually is, it's scary because it's an unknown, and we are scared of the unknown.
This doesn't stop us from speculating on its size or what could potentially be out there. Are there alien civilizations far more advanced than ours? Or alternate realities with infinite possibilities? Or maybe we're all just plugged into a computer, a simulation?
It's all a
After
simulation.
would this not be the best time in our known history to simulate? Or maybe Earth is flat and just like birds, space is not real, so none of this really matters. I guess in the end, it turns out that the scariest thing about the universe is not really up in space, but instead lives here inside of our imaginations.
In my opinion, the scariest thing would be the cosmic voids and the black holes. A black hole because you just have to assume that everything that goes in there is just gone forever. So, black hole equals death. That's why it's scary. The cosmic voids, why are they empty? What happened there? Was there something before and did everything just get annihilated? Or was it always empty? Who knows? Nobody knows. So yeah, scary. Everything else? I would say it's interesting rather than scary. The fact aliens could exist, I wouldn't really say that's... I would say that's half scary, half interesting, because you don't know if aliens are like they are in the movies. In the movies, they're always portrayed as evil beings that want to kill humanity, and there's just no way to say that's how they would be in real life. They probably would be, because humanity... If they can achieve space travel and go to different planets, then they could easily enslave us, probably, if they exist. So I guess it would be scary, but maybe they're a peaceful race. That's possible. Unlikely, but possible. The different planets, I would also say they're interesting rather than scary. The different conditions, like how an entire planet is made of water, an entire is just made of lava, or Jupiter and all the storms on it. I would say that's interesting. When it comes to the size of the universe, that's also interesting and not scary, because think about all the stuff that could be out there. You can make up so many different things in your mind that might actually exist. It's basically just endless possibilities beyond the observable universe. But I think I've wasted enough of your time now, so consider leaving a like, subscribing. If you're interested, why not watch this video right here? And with that, I hope I'll see you in the next video.